Welcome and good morning. I've noted various special days and seasons through the year, so happy No Kings weekend. Come, whoever you are, holding various beliefs, whatever your skin color or national origin, whatever your age or gender identity, whatever your abilities, whomever you love, you are welcome at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Statesboro. You are welcome in this, our religious home. And we extend a warm welcome to any visitors and guests. Do we have anyone who would like to introduce yourself or someone else you have visiting with you? Looks like familiar faces out there. All right. If we do have anyone visiting, we hope that you will give us some contact information in our guest registry near the front entrance or on our website at www.uustatesboro.org so that we can send you more information about the fellowship. Thank you, members and guests, for sharing your resources during our offertory, which will later in the service, or again, you can do that on the website. In the month of October, half of our offering that is not designated as pledge to the UU Fellowship of Statesboro will be donated to the Statesboro Migrant Support Group. They can use it for reasons we heard more about yesterday. Now, I invite you to join with me in reciting our congregational affirmation. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Our worship leader this morning is our minister. I need to say our new minister anymore, the Reverend Samara.
Thank you, Al. And now we will light our chalice. And if you will, recite the words on the first verse here while I light it. This is our chalice lighting words. Everybody go ahead.
This is our chalice of love and knowledge, uniting us all by day and night.
Now, please rise in body or spirit to sing Rise Up, O Flame, led by Mo.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
And this is maybe one of my favorite parts of the service. Please greet each other this beautiful morning. Everybody, if I could have your attention, turn around and say hello to the people online. Hi, everybody. Hey, Mom. Okay, now is our time for all ages. May I have all the young and young at heart who would like to come forward? We're going to watch a video story and listen to a video story. So come on out, and I ask for your patience. I'm going to have to get out PowerPoint. Next minute. Okay. Stone Soup. It's an old folk tale, and this version is retold by John J. This is playing on the screen, but not on the presentation. Do you know how to get that to happen now?
Sue traveled along the mountain road. They talked about cat whiskers, the color of the sun, and giving. What makes one happy, Sue? asked Hawk, the youngest monk. Old Sue, who was the wisest, said, "Let's find out." The sound of a bell brought their gaze to the rooftops of a village below. They could not see from so high above that the village had been through many hard times. Famine, floods, and war had made the villagers weary and untrusting of strangers. They had even become suspicious of their neighbors. The villagers worked hard, but only for themselves. There was a farmer, a tea merchant, a scholar, a seamstress, a doctor, a carpenter, and many others. But they had little to do with one another. When the monks reached the foot of the mountain, the villagers disappeared into their houses. No one came to the gates to greet them. And when the people saw them enter the village, they closed their windows tight. The monks knocked on the door of the first house. There was no answer. Then the house went dark. They knocked on the second door, and the same thing happened. It happened again and again from one house to the next. These people do not know happiness, they all agreed. But today, said Sue, his face bright as the moon, we will show them how to make stone soup. They gathered twigs and branches and made a fire. They placed a small tin pot on top and filled it with water from the village well. A brave little girl who had been watching came to them. "What are you doing?" she asked. "We are gathering twigs," said Locke. "We are making a fire," said Hawk. "We are making stone soup, and we need 3 round, smooth stones," said Sue. The little girl helped the monks look around the courtyard until they found just the right one. Then they put them in the water to cook. "These stones will make excellent soup," said Sue. "But this very small pot won't make much, I'm afraid." "My mother has a bigger pot," said the girl. The little girl ran home. As she started to take a pot, her mother asked what she was doing. "The 3 strangers are making soup from stones," she said. "They need our biggest pot." Said the girl's mother. "Stones are easy to come by. I'd like to learn how to do that." The monks poked the coals. As smoke drifted up, the neighbors peered out from their windows. The fire in the large pot in the middle of the village was a true curiosity. One by one, the people of the village came out to see just what this stone soup was. "Of course, old-style stone soup should be well seasoned with salt and pepper," said Hawk. "That is true," said Locke, as he stirred the giant pot filled with water and stones. "But we have none." "I have some salt and pepper," said the scholar, his eyes big with curiosity. He disappeared and came back with salt and pepper and even a few other spices. Sue took a taste. The last time we had soup stones of this size and color, carrots made the broth very sweet. Carrots, said a woman from the back. I have a few carrots, but just a few. And off she ran. She returned with as many carrots as she could carry and dropped them into the pot. Do you think it would be better with onions? Asked Hawk. Oh, yes, maybe an onion would taste good, said a farmer, and he hurried off. He returned in a moment with 5 big onions, and he dropped them into the bubbling soup. Now that's a fine soup, he said. The villagers all nodded their heads as the smell was very agreeable. But if only we had some mushrooms, said Sue, rubbing his chin. Several villagers licked their lips. A few dashed away and returned with fresh mushrooms, noodles, pea pods, and cabbages. Something magical began to happen among the villagers. As each person opened their heart to give, the next person gave even more. And as this happened, the soup grew richer and smelled more delicious. I imagine the emperor would suggest we had dumplings, said one villager. And bean curd, said another. What about cloud ear and mung beans and yams, cried some others. And taro root and winter melon and baby corn, cried the other villagers. Garlic root, soy sauce, lily buds. I have some, people cried out. And off they ran, returning with all they could carry. The monks stirred and the pot bubbled. How good it smelled! How good it would taste! How giving the villagers had become! At last the soup was ready. The villagers gathered together. They brought rice and steamed buns. They brought lychee nuts and sweet cakes. They brought seed cake, and they lit lanterns. Everyone sat down to eat. They had not been together for a feast like this for as long as anyone could remember. After the banquet, they told stories, sang songs, and celebrated long into the night. Then they unlocked their doors and took the monks into their homes and gave them very comfortable places to sleep. In the gentle spring morning, everyone gathered together near the willows to say farewell. Thank you for having us as your guests, said the monks. You have been most generous. Thank you, said the villagers. With the gifts you have given, we will always have plenty. You have shown us that sharing makes us all richer. And to think, said the monks, to be happy is as simple as making stone soup. The end.
It's like magic. Y'all can't see it from this end. Mo's just sending the cursor off the side of the screen. Thank you, Mo. And now please let us sing our children's, or we'll say our children's affirmation there, a hand jive to go with it. We are Unitarian Universalists, people of open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. Thank you. And now our children's recessional. For those who would like to come and form a little tunnel for our children to pass through as they go to their classes, and we will sing our children's recessional. Ready? and our bodies in this moment, in this place together. You settle in, find breath that is comfortable for your rhythms, and breathe. Feel the seat supporting you. Perhaps you will feel your feet supported by the ground, and breathe. It is so important to claim what stillness we can when things are hizzy-tizzy, such as during stewardship season. It's stewardship season. When I say it like that, it reminds me of that scene from The Shining, where Jack Nicholson is like practicing his way through a door. It's a very horrifying effect. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't have to. It's really okay. But I will offer this bit of information earnestly because you may find it helpful, and it will help me to discharge my duty to you. In UU circles, as I understand it, the conventional wisdom for pledging is a baseline of 5%. And from the perspective of tithing, which literally means 10%, we suggest 5 because we as UUs assume that you will give your other 5% elsewhere, right? And whatever it is you are pledging to share with your community, your time, your talents, your treasure, or some combination thereof. Okay, phew, duty discharged. But in all seriousness, I do have to think very deeply about how I personally want to talk about generosity. Because as a staunch anti-capitalist, and in these days when so many are scraping the bottom of the barrel just to get by, what business do I have delivering a sermon on the amount? Yeah, do I have the gall to talk about giving during a season of such rampant need? It turns out I do. But it's not about dollar bills. As a spiritual leader, it is incumbent upon me to talk about these things because generosity is not only one of our core Unitarian Universalist values, which are described by the acronym JETPIG: justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, with love at the center. Too often, talking about material need can very quickly derail a spiritual endeavor. I personally believe there is nothing inherently wrong with money. I mean, it's weird. But when money, like any resource, flows to where it is needed, the flow represents life-giving movement, vitality, right? Money should flow. If it doesn't, when it's hoarded by would-be dragons, and even the idea of dragonhood itself becomes vaunted, that flow stops up. A blockage occurs, and it becomes septic and vile, and the true power of it rots. And this is when systemic decay throws all life out of balance. 1 Timothy has that great quote about the love of money being the root of all kinds of evil. Did you all know that was a Bible quote? Yeah, okay. But later on in that chapter, there's a few verses later, he talks about being rich in good works, generous, and ready to share, so that they, we, whoever, may take hold of the life that really is life. Not the illusion of that, right? So on the one hand, we have this community. We have UUFS as a religious organization with humanitarian and spiritual and justice concerns. And on the other hand, we are all doing our best to function in late-stage capitalism. Talk about cognitive dissonance. Talk about spiritual dissonance. There is this raw and rough edge where spiritual concern doesn't immediately match up with systems designed to promote the hoarding of resources and the idolatry of the individual. We are about liberation and life-affirming values, and the utilities need to be paid. How do we reconcile these things? I don't know that we ever do. I think the would-be dragons are relying on us being stymied by our inability to reconcile those things. Or maybe they are not meant to be reconciled ever, the way that a wrench and a level don't reconcile with each other, but they may be both tools used on the same job. It may be that stewardship season and talk about pledging is always going to bring up feelings of discomfort, or shame, or pride. Or here we go again, rolling of the eyes, and I don't blame you for a single one of those reactions. And each one of those is a distraction from the spiritual grounding of generosity as a religious value. Now, this church has done a pretty good job about making it clear that money doesn't make this world go round, right? Commitment, engagement, energy, support, mutuality. Sometimes that support comes in the form of money. Sometimes it comes in the form of giving your time, or talents, or expertise. Sometimes you can't give a single damn thing, and you would still be welcomed if you walked through those doors. If it took the last ounce of your spirit to just make it into the room, you would be welcomed here wholeheartedly. Because there are only so many hours in a day, and there are only so many calories of effort in a body. Reverend Dr. William Barber, leader of the Poor People's Campaign, shared the idea that you shouldn't be asked to hear the voice of God over the rumbling of an empty belly. Period. End of sentence. No lies detected. But how could the people in the stone soup story imagine a banquet if all they had was the few scraps of their own? It takes a little courage to respond to even a gentle invitation, a little willingness to shift and be open to the journey the monks were inviting these villagers to consider. And inherent in their invitation was the understanding that nobody was obligated to give. The monks did not look at those people and tell them to bring ingredients. They held the idea of wholeness represented by an integration of ingredients, a soup, as a viable goal. It was teased out by helping people reconnect to their own curiosity. What is stone soup? That was very appealing to that one woman at the beginning, right? Stones are easy to come by. Couldn't hurt to check it out. And with a few very lightly made observations, oh, this would taste really delicious with some carrots. Somebody said, "Oh, I have some carrots." The happiness of the individuals in that story was inextricably intertwined with the freedom and bounty of the collective. And if all you have is a group of individuals, each struggling in isolation, and maybe not even being able to imagine anything else, then what is needed is compassion. Gentle and invitational presence. To be willing to meet each other where you are. To hold a little curiosity. And to eradicate our expectations of what it means to give, of how each person gives, of how much each person gives. And if anyone can't give in a single moment, to resist the resentment that may come up because of lingering judgments about how the soup should be made, or the idea that your recipe is the right one. You'll notice the monks had no recipe, right? They dictated nothing. And no one was excluded from that banquet at the end. Now, I know there's a lot of this happening in this congregation already. Y'all are looking out for each other. Y'all are taking care of each other in so many ways, and that is glorious. Somebody brings somebody food, right? Somebody makes a phone call. Somebody writes a thank you card. There is a lot going on. And there is a miracle that happens when you go all in with your spirit. The miracle that happens wherever 2 or 3 are gathered. Another Bible quote that I love. That's Matthew 15:20 for those who are interested. Let me give you an example. I was set to lead a small group ministry last year that had been in development for about a year before that. And in the week it was officially launched as a community-wide endeavor, the congregation experienced the first of a domino series of significant setbacks that utterly derailed almost everything. Rather than give up on this ministry completely, which nobody was willing to do, and rather than trying to continue as planned, which nobody was able to do, I suggested that all the participants and I meet together just to check in, just to be together for our first meeting. And every single person who came to that table came with almost nothing to offer but their desire to find a way forward. And little else. Their spirits were low. Resources, capacities, energy, emotions, all were very, very low. But they showed up with each other, willing to be vulnerable in that low feeling, in that low state of being. They were willing to show each other their emptiness. And over the course of that evening, something beautiful happened. In the act of sharing, in the act of really being 100% together and present with each other and allowing space for that emptiness, spirits quietly and slowly filled up. We were nourished, though we arrived at that table with nothing but the heavy stones of emotion. We all left that table with full hearts. This is the essence of stone soup. And it was our own personal miracle of the loaves and fishes. The spiritual nourishment that can appear in any given moment to fill us up when we are empty arises in the space between us. The spaces that we make between us, that we allow for connection to happen. And what is the source of that spiritual nourishment, friends? Love. And love, and one of its most fundamental expressions, is the willingness to be present with someone where they are at, even in their emptiness. In your emptiness. To earnestly and vulnerably give each other the room to feel empty together. This is an act of witness. This is an act of witness. And that serves the seed, it serves to seed the space between you with love, which is, of course, what fuels a jet plane. We all saw that one coming, right? We know from the very beginning that love is the center of everything we do, everything we believe as Unitarian Universalists. But I will remind us today that when we talk about fueling generosity, we are not fueling out of our sense of scarcity. We are not fueling out of our emptiness or the absence from or separateness from each other. We are creating that miracle of fullness, real fullness, because of our willingness to be present, to take that risk to show up with each other. That courageous risk to be truly present with each other, and it is often messy and sometimes awkward and uncomfortable. And if you stick with it, heart-filling, soul-filling, and belly-filling connections can happen. Now, I'm a practical person, but I am also a person whose primary ministry tool, or at least one of them, is play. And even though I have said something that I hope to find meaningful, right? I hope you found something I've said meaningful or even a useful reminder, we still have to deal with capitalism and the mundane reality that some of us are stuck behind those doors, like the villagers, and don't know how to open them, even to offer the carrots we might be inclined to share. So I thought we might make a bowl of annoyance soup. Now, one of my primary ministry tools is play, but I also have executive dysfunction, so I forgot to put out the pens and the paper. So, and pens. Okay, so pens and pencils here. We'll start this. So, annoyance soup. Oh yeah, and if you have pens or pencils of your own, then and you can bring them out, that's great. I'm going to ask you to engage in a little exercise with me. Totally invitational, no obligation. And consent can be revoked at any time. You can do half of it if you want and not the other half. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, is there a minor but persistent annoyance in your life? Something that on the surface of it may seem like no big deal, but it's just more than you have been able to handle, or it's like such a small thing that you can't even justify prioritizing the dealing with it, right? So, like a burned out light bulb, which is so high you can't reach it and you don't know where your stepladder is. Or a pair of pants that needs mending, but you don't wear them that often, and so what's the point? Or there's this nail that's sticking out of that baseboard in the kitchen, but you don't know who you want your hammer to, and it catches the broom, and it's just this minor whatever, right? Write it down. Write it down on this paper if you have one. And if you don't have one, maybe you will just write down a skill that you have, but a mundane skill. You're really good at changing light bulbs, or sweeping, or whatever. So, for whatever reason, this small annoyance persists in your life, right? And it's like those semaphore guys at the airport who are just directing, like, here, this is where you have an opportunity to connect. That's what these annoyances are meant to be, right? These are opportunities to connect. Because I'm pretty sure that somebody in this room has a hammer or a stepladder or a mending kit that they're willing to share. So take a couple of minutes. You can talk amongst yourselves if you like. I'm going to take 2 minutes and write something down. And when you're ready, drop them in the annoyance soup bowl. Go ahead. And if anybody in the chat wants to write them, we'll write them down for you and put them in the bowl. This is a very bizarre offering. This is not the offering, by the way. Thank you for checking what's happening. I love it. I am already seeing more papers than I hoped for. Good. And if you need more time, we're just going to leave it up here. Oh, over here, Adrian. This is fantastic. And I hope you remember to put your name on the paper, and if you didn't, I'm sure we can sort it out. Yeah. Ooh, lots of annoyances. I apparently did. Okay. So, you thought of a good one. Somebody thought of a good one. So the reason I hope you put your name on it, or are willing to claim it, is because I want y'all to look through these and find one that you can answer. Find someone's annoyance and follow up with each other. Like, really follow up with each other. Thank you, Adrian. This is awesome. Oh, we made such a rich annoyance soup. So, relevant to a sermon about soup, thank you so much, Adrian. In disability culture, we talk about spoon theory. Is anybody? Yeah, I see, solidarity. Spoon theory is this idea that any person starts with a spoon drawer that's full of however many spoons they have available to them. And your spoon drawer can be any size, and you can have any number of spoons in it, but it represents what I have later heard is termed your allostatic load, which is the amount your capacity to deal with the things during the day, right? So if someone has or doesn't have the spoons to accomplish even the smallest of annoyances, then even just that small thing can become an insurmountable barrier. And that's when you know you can use a little help. A little grace, a little assistance, right? Something you don't have the spoons to do for yourself or by yourself. You may find that putting your little annoyance, putting your annoyance in this bowl here was a way of opening the door to find who else is out there that does have the spoons. Because your insurmountable barrier is somebody else's no big deal. Okay, so each time we do this, each time we open that door, each time we connect over even just a seemingly small annoyance that has become an insurmountable barrier, we are inviting the miracle of spiritual fullness to well up between us. And when we do, generosity becomes a gift, not a burden. Dorothy Day, the founder of the Catholic worker movement, said, quote, "We cannot love God unless we love each other. And to love, we must know each other. We know him in the breaking of bread, or the divine, or the spirit of life, or love, in the breaking of bread. And we know each other in the breaking of bread. And we are not alone anymore." The quote continues, "Heaven is a banquet, and life is a banquet too, even with a crust where there is companionship." End quote. So when you are feeling empty, whatever form that emptiness takes, let that be a compass that points you towards the companionship of these people, of the people out in the world, right? Let your time with each other be a refueling station. Let refueling your spirit with moments of loving connection be the miracle that will help you to take hold of the life that really is life. That precious, irreplaceable, heartbreaking gift. Amen. May it be so. We are going to sing a hymn together. Please rise and by your spirit. And we will sing hymn number 95 in the gray hymnal. And summarized with 4 verses here.
For anybody who's not familiar with this hymn, I'm going to play it one time through, and then our wonderful choir will lead y'all the rest of the way through.
Mo is going to lead us one time.
Play the piano one time through,
Mo is going to play the piano one time through so we can get the rhythm and the melody of it.
and then the choir's going to lead the rest.
And the choir will lead us the rest of the way.
did a wonderful job yesterday.
Choir is great, yeah. And now we're gonna bring it back to earth with the offering. Now is a time in our service each week where we invite you to contribute of your treasure specifically. But we always welcome offers of your time, talents, and treasure. You can talk with a board member if you have any, if you would like to find out how you can do that. But for now, Millie is going to play us some music, I think. Millie, are you still going to play? Consent can be revoked at any time. Okay, Millie's going to play some music for us while we have our offering. There is information on the slide here to help you do that digitally, or you can go to statesboro.org and click the donate button. And the offering will now be gratefully requested and gratefully received. Yeah, that's for you. And now we invite those who have something on their heart, either a joy or a concern that they wish to share with this community, to come forward and light a candle or drop a stone into the bowl, and give Mike a chance to check the chat if anyone on this live stream has it. And I will just remind folks that we are streaming publicly. And if you have something that is too private to share, please feel welcome to reach out to a member of our pastoral care team after the service.
I was just kind of feeling the need to explain to everyone that Samara did not just arrive in town and decide, hey, I'll do the Sermon on the Mount. That was a very specific request from the board. We asked them to do that, and it is that time of year, whenever it is that season of giving, to support the UU Fellowship and our purposes in the community. And I think that was an excellent Sermon on the Mount, which is a term that's been used before. And we now have a schedule for the campaign, and I believe we'll be hearing some more about that. Anyway, so if you want to blame anyone, blame those of us who've been here all along. Another thing that happens at this time of year is that we need a nominating committee and some board members for next year. So I'll be speaking to some people about that. Thank you.
Wow. Siren asks that you please light a candle for him for the love and company of good friends.
I would like to light a candle for the pleasures of theater and music and for the chance to see these beautifully portrayed by Georgia Southern students this weekend. I went to a superb theatrical production, which is having its last run this afternoon. I really recommend it. It's called Revolutionists. And I went to a superb concert on music students.
I'm Sherry. Connie's letting me go next. Thank you, Connie. I'm lighting a candle of love and light in token of the healing wishes we send to Jane, our minister emerita, who was in, if you haven't heard, was in a pretty bad accident last weekend. Fortunately, her grandson and her son were able, because Greg was out of town. But she wound up in the hospital for a couple of nights and had emergency surgery on her right arm, but she's back at home and healing. So, in token of the love and light, we send to Jane wishes for speedy healing.
Well, unusually for me, I get to light a candle of joy this week. As many of you know, I've been dealing with the probate court and stuff to try to get all the papers to discharge my daddy's estate. So I'm through probate now, for those of you who haven't heard, so I do have the legal paperwork. And because of that, a few days ago, I was finally able to sign the lease on my apartment. So it is officially mine now in my name, and I don't have to worry about that. So for at least the next year, if I want, I'm settled here in Statesboro. I don't have to move, I don't have to worry about any of that. So if I have the spoons, and thank you for introducing those who weren't aware of that concept, Samara, to get the place kind of cleaned up enough for it, y'all might be getting invited to a kind of re-housewarming thing, even though I've lived there for like 20 years. But anyway, that's kind of a bit of a load off. I still have a lot of stuff to do, legally speaking, to kind of finalize things, but that was one of the major ones, just to make sure that housing was in order, and housing is in order, and I don't have to change anything about that, which is very comforting to me, because I don't need any more huge changes right now. So, yay.
All right. I'm Adrian. And in case any of you didn't know, I'm from Boston. Where there is a long history of protests. And I was thinking about this recently. I've been in many protests in my life, and the first one was like 1980, so it's been a long time. I am so proud of the people of this area for showing up yesterday at the No Kings. And I am so proud of every single person that drove by and beat their horn, and I'm proud of the choir for coming to sing. And I think often, people don't realize how many of us are in this area. There's assumptions that are made that are completely inaccurate. And I saw so many people standing and honoring the fact that they want this country to be better than it is now. And I am so grateful, so honored to have been a part of it. And I just don't want this day to go past without acknowledging every single person who showed up, drove by, looked at the pictures on Facebook and said, I guess those Statesboro people care too. So thank you.
I want to light a candle of gratitude and recognition of Adrian and Martha for their moral courage in standing up and speaking, not only supporting my community in this very frightening time, but doing many other things. And Al's story, thank you, Al, honoring Al as well. I'm just, my love overflows, my gratitude, and just respect and honor for all three of them. It's the good ones.
I will just repeat that for the folks on the live stream, that Laura is celebrating and honoring with immense and overflowing gratitude the moral courage of Adrian and Martha for their work with the migrant support group, and for Al and his honest reporting. All right, I will light one more candle for those joys and concerns that rest in the quiet of our hearts. I will invite you into a choral invocation to prayer. Please rise, embody your spirit, and sing Spirit of Life.
with us. Now, please join me in saying the words of our chalice extinguishing together. We
Extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
And any announcements for the good of the community? Here comes Teresa.
Oh, sit down a minute. Now, I decided I should come up front so everybody online could also be sure and hear us this morning. And I won't keep you, I promise. I know we're already over time. But it is the season of the canvas, and we are excited. And I want to start by saying thank you for being here this morning. This is an easy Sunday to skip. I get that. I do. And you didn't. I also want to say, thanks for being here all last year and all the support you've already given to our fellowship, both with your money as well as with your talents and volunteer efforts that you've given this past year, and some of you for years before that. So, we do have a pledge form available. I have some on the back table, actually. I brought them over here in my hand just to show them to you. We have a paper pledge form if you like paper and want to fill out a paper pledge form. We have a link to a digital form that you can fill out. You will get the link and some more information in your email, probably this afternoon, about how to fill out that form online if you are willing or interested in doing it that way. Our hope is that we will reach our monetary goal of $64,000 in pledges. Now, we're not asking you to give any money today, so no money is needed right now. What we need is an idea of how much money you might be able to give in 2026 so that we can create a realistic budget. That's where the money comes from that we put in the budget and vote on at the annual meeting. It's from what you tell me you are willing to pledge. So that is our goal, that we hit that 64,000 mark. We also have a goal that 100% of us will volunteer to be involved some way in the fellowship next year. Whether that's working on a project or serving on a committee or some other role, as Al was mentioning, we do need officers and things like that for the board if you're looking to get really involved. So there's an opportunity on this paper pledge form as well as on the digital form to tell us how you might want to share your talents. So pulling something out of the bowl this morning is certainly one way to share talents with each other, and you'll have lots of options to do that again all next year, and we appreciate that. So we would love it if we knew how much you were willing to share with us in 2026 by November 10th. That gives us about 5 days to pull a budget together before the 16th, which is the day of our annual meeting. Will we accept pledges after November 10th? Oh, of course. We would love to have your pledge anytime you're ready to give it to us. But if you know that you are going to financially support the church and you know you're going to do some volunteer work next year, tell us as soon as you can, just so we can go ahead and start planning and get some of these things worked out so that when we come together again, Over the next several Sundays, you'll hear a little more of this, and then on the 16th, you'll hear, hopefully, that we met our goal and we have a beautiful budget and we can support all of the priorities that we've agreed on as a congregation. We have a canvas committee. It is Kathy Smith, MacArthur, I never say your last name. That's it, right? No MacArthur, right? Right. I don't know why I never say it, but I'm sorry. No, and myself. So if you have other questions, feel free to talk to one of us. There's a table in the back. Somebody will be at the table every Sunday. If you have questions, please feel free to stop by. Next week, we'll have a box for you to return your completed paper form if you would like to. Or you can email it back, you can mail it back, or like I said, you can just fill the form out online. Even the paper form has the link to fill the form out online if you prefer. So I'll be back there if you have any questions. Thank you so much for your time, and sorry it took me longer than a minute.
Y'all, there's lots of nuts and bolts in the work of liberation. That's what it amounts to. Anybody, Abby, there was something that Abby was going to ask us to say, and all I remember is that Abby wanted us to announce something.
UNICEF collection to UNICEF.
Yes.
Children and adults are welcome to wear a costume the Sunday before Thanksgiving, and we will come prepared with coins or dollar bills or checks or whatever, because they'll go around and trick or treat for UNICEF. We do this every year.
I think it's next Sunday though, right?
You mean Halloween?
Halloween, yeah, the Sunday before Halloween, it's Thanksgiving. The time, that's okay, time is
My calendar,
doing.
and my, dog is blowing up the candles.
Blowing out the candles, okay. Oh, thank you. All right, Connie's gonna blow out our candles for us. Go ahead,
I just
Martha.
wanted to make a food announcement. We have the workshop, don't forget, at 12 o'clock. Even if you haven't signed up or told me, please come. Everybody's welcome. First of all, I'd like to thank Jody Brunson once again for bringing her wonderful homemade bread and refreshments. We have lots of refreshments. But the table, when you walk in the kitchen, the table to the left is the food that we'll be serving. It's nothing fancy, but that's what will be our lunch for the workshop. So please don't take food off at that table, just the food where we always have our refreshments. And thank you again, Judy.
Thank you to Jody for the bread and refreshments afterwards. On the left are for the workshop participants. We will be providing a light lunch for the workshop participants that will start about 12. And, Sherry was saying that we're gonna do the trick or treat for UNICEF. Is that during the service or after the service? It's like during the offers. Okay, during the time for all ages next Sunday, please wear a costume if you are a little inclined. Adults and youth of all ages, including in your 47th trimester, are welcome to wear a costume.
I'm trying to catch a stray dog in town who lives on a vacant lot, and I'm in a really big hurry because I was told that if I can't catch him in just a few days, that we're going to have to call animal control. He looks like a pit. I don't think things will go well for him. He's skittish, but he does not seem aggressive. If anyone has any networking ideas for me, friends you know who might know are good at catching dogs, or any tools or equipment to use, or any advice, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
And the board meeting is tomorrow online. The Zoom, the Zoom address is on the UFS or Statesboro.org website under contact us, that page. At 7 p.m. Tomorrow, our regular board meeting. And thank you, Teresa, for your role in the canvas, and Teresa, by the way, is treasurer, has been for 3 years, is term limited, so that's one of the tasks.
You can do this next year.
Thank you. Okay, and what's your name, friend?
It's John Page.
John. Okay, so John was talking about needing help with resources to find and catch a stray dog in the next few days. If anybody has any ideas, please reach out to John. And Al was reminding us that the board meeting is tomorrow at 7 p.m. on Zoom, and the Zoom address is on the uustatesboro.org contact us page. Okay. Is that it? Everybody got
There are announcements out? Okay, good. Then I will invite you to sing our benediction with us. The choir looks like the choir is singing again. Number 168 in your teal pen, or sorry, in your gray hymnal. Thank you, beloveds, and we look forward to seeing you either at fellowship, at the workshop, or next week. Thank you very much.